Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Zita, and you're all welcome to the World of Women podcast. Today is September 27th, and I don't know where this month went to, so it looks like we're the whole month is flying, and I am just like, just wondering what is going on, So, I don't know. So this evening we have the whole month is flying. We have one of my friends coming to join us this evening, and we welcome Jean Moale in our midst. She will be talking to us today about where she stopped the last time, and it has been a pleasure to connect with her again and trying to get her to give us an update, an inspiring update. Things have really turned around for the best.
Yes.
And we're here today to hear all about it. And so please grab your seat, relax, and let's just go and listen to Jean. Over to you, Jean.
Okay. Well, firstly, hi, everybody. It's good to see everybody again. Yeah, there's been a few. Let me see, is everybody on there?
So we are going to be.
I think we have a 1 minute delay. Mr. Zita?
Sorry?
I think there's like a delay. It's almost like you can hear it's playing back in the background.
Oh.
Yes.
Are we still hearing that now? I think it's gone.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you.
All right.
Yes. Oh, yes. So it was on to me. And yes, we've had a few developments since the last time I was on here. I think the last time I had spoken that I was opening up the Miracles of Hope, which was the nonprofit. And that was the nonprofit to help disabled individuals and also to help cancer survivors and their families. And it's a very big passion for me because I went through both. And so I know the struggles that people go through. So, okay. Sorry about that. And so after I did the Miracles of Hope, our nonprofit, I also opened up Miracles of Hope Home Care, which is in the infancy stage. And I just definitely wanted something that, people can have that. We have home cares every day, but I just wanted something different in the sense that I wanted the care to be before the income, because sometimes, I always tell people, I said, when somebody's going through something, and I understand in life that we all need to make money, but when you have that compassion to somebody, you can literally change somebody's day and how they're going to look at their day. So that's one of the reasons that I wanted to open up Miracles of Hope Home Health. So that is in effect. And another development I did want to let everybody know is, because this is so passionate to me, is that I'm now the regional ambassador for the Northeast region of the Amputee Coalition. Yes. So, and that way I'm so happy, and I'm very thankful to the Amputee Coalition to give me that opportunity, to be able to help my fellow amputees and people that do go through limb loss. So, And I hope that, you know, my dream is that if I can just make a difference in somebody's life to say, wow, she went through that and overcame that and is able to help other people, you know, that is something that is my goal in life. If I can make somebody's life just a little bit easier. And because, you know, being here in the United States, where I'm located at the moment, we have resources to a lot of things. We have resources to healthcare, we have resources to food, so shelter, and, you know, just the basic things that every human being should be privileged to have in life. But unfortunately, there's some people that don't have the luxuries that we experience every day. And so with that, and I always tell people, sometimes even if we don't have the financial means, but just being the bridge between somebody having nothing and somebody that has something, just being the bridge to be able to have those two meet in the middle, that everybody has a great day, is one of the things that I definitely love to, you know, employ people to say, you don't have to be a millionaire or a thousandaire, as my son always says. Mom, I said, you have to work very hard for that, you know. So, but a random, even a small sign of kindness, you see somebody on the street, you know, how are you doing? You look great, you know, is something, because if we all do that every day to somebody, or do it once a day to somebody, can we just imagine what type of a world that would be, you know? And so, yes, so I'm very excited about my new position, and I hope that it'll be for 2 years, beginning in January. So I hope that I'll be able to impact some people and be able to lead the advocates that will be under me, you know, to be able to get in touch with people, and just to let them know that even when you feel like there's no hope, there's somebody out there that's willing to help you. So never give up hope is my message, because when you have hope, miracles are endless. And I testify to that. So apart from that, I'm just waiting. I have some interviews coming up with on KDKA in a few days with Kim Gable. She's also a very amazing woman, and that helps, you know, people also with struggling in other fields. So yeah, that's some news so far. So, and I wanted to thank Sister Zita once again for having me back on. It's always a pleasure, and it's nice to see some familiar faces from last time. Hello, Emily, Dr. Emmanuel, Kenny, and if I said the names wrong, please forgive me.
No, that's all right. Thank you so much, Jean, for coming to this podcast today. I know it was an impromptu, and you responded to it. I really appreciate your ability to be that fast and to really come in to take up that opportunity to share with us how life has unfolded for you since the last time we met you. And you came to a podcast and you talked to us. For the interest of people who are logging in and here listening to you for the first time, can you really kind of give us a little bit of your background as much as you can, so people can connect, you know, what you've shared now with your background? Because some people may think, oh, maybe this is a different person. This is still Jean. And please, if you don't mind, just, you know, sharing with us what it was like before now you're becoming now a celebrity. But of course you are. So, and you never know where this is going to lead you or lead any of us. You know, once one is hopeful and very positive, and knowing that God is always there, directing you, accompanying you, making sure that all you're doing is nothing but following God's footsteps. Mighty and marvelous things happen in people's lives. So, and we know it has never been, you know, like from day one of your life, things made a turn at some point. So please, can you talk to us a little bit about what happened? Like I said, for people who are just meeting you for the first time today.
Yes, absolutely. You know, I would tell you, like, for me, I have very strong and very influential parents in that they instilled in me strength. So I was born in Zambia, and at a very early age, I moved to London. My dad was privileged to be the deputy ambassador there. And so I grew up there. And after he left there, he went back to Zambia. Then we lived in South Africa for a while. After he retired, I moved to the United States, to Los Angeles. And I stayed there for, I want to say, for a little while. I came to Pittsburgh on business. And while I was here on business, I'd felt a lump on my neck. And after a while, I was diagnosed with lymphoma. I went into the hospital. I was at Shadyside for, I want to say, about 10 months. I underwent chemo. And in that time, before I went into remission, they'd said that it would be unlikely that I would have children, which is very heartbreaking. But which brings me back to what I said earlier, is that I have very strong parents that instilled a lot of strength in me. And my mom said to me, I remember that day, and she said, you know, you have amazing doctors, which I 100% do, because UPMC has been amazing and is an extended family to me. But after that, I went into remission, and I ended up having 2 gorgeous babies, and they're 17 now. So when I say babies, I say that with a very low voice, because when they hear that, it's almost, Mom, we're not babies. But, you know, so I had the twins, and they went to Africa. After some time, I started feeling sick. Fast forward, the doctor said that cancer. And I said, is my cancer back? They said, no, it's a different cancer. So I went through further chemo, which I actually stayed in the hospital longer than the first time. And then after that, I went to Africa and to go and see the twins. On my way back, I had an incident of I ate something, and ultimately I ended up losing both my legs, and 4 of my fingers on my right hand were amputated. After that, I went through just a lot of depression, trying to refine myself, which, thank God, literally thank you to the Lord, has saved me, in the sense of that, one thing I always tell people, the Lord never leaves us. So, and he never forgets about us. He does not choose. As long as you give yourself to him, he's always there. He just waits for us. So just to everybody, just always keep that in mind. God is always there. So I definitely lost my way, but I found my way back and come to me now. And, you know, I said to myself, I said, God made me live through very traumatic things in my life, but he saved me in that he had the power to make me understand that, you know, everything happens for a reason. And I feel that my journey is to share my story so that people can understand that even if you didn't go through what I went through, I can tell you this, I may not know your pain, but I understand pain. And when you go through something, it doesn't have to be cancer, it doesn't have to be amputations like myself, it could be something else. Just remember, you know, when you have hope, miracles are endless. And when, as I spoke in my earlier visit with Sister Zita, is that, you know, in life, when there's always a saying, when life throws you lemons, make some lemonade. But do that. But also, all you need to do is just to change your hierarchy. Try it. Try it. You know, if whatever you're going through, if God and yourself, you don't believe in yourself and you don't believe in God, if you change that around, if that's not your hierarchy right now, change it around. Try something new. Try God on top. Try having that confidence in yourself. You know, believe in yourself. The more you believe in yourself, other people will see that belief. Do it. Try it. You know? So, you know, I tell people every day, you know, it's not people that are selected to say, no, this one is better, this one did something different. I didn't do anything different. I changed my hierarchy and I believed, you know. You can't believe into something else if you don't believe in yourself first. Believe in yourself first, after you believe in God. Back to the hierarchy. So, yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for giving us that little reflection of your background. And like I said, it has never been that easy for you, but one thing was certain, that your hope and your faith carried you. And you had that support, the family support that we receive early in life goes a long way to sustain one, especially when you find yourself in situations that are frightening, that you don't even expect. And that can happen to anybody, you know. So when you talked about the support system you got from your family growing up, that has really strengthened you, and it continues to strengthen one to the rest of their life. And that really brings me to, you know, when people struggle or go through challenges in life, a lot of people, especially in this culture, seem not to have that support system from when they were kids for so many reasons. And we find out today that some of those weak foundation are really impacting people's lives, even into adulthood, and even when they get older. And when you sit down to talk to people, you can hear that come through. They might not even be aware of it, but when you listen, you will hear that come through in people's stories. And that's for me, that is very critical, that we pay attention. We pay attention to what we have received and be grateful for that, because you never know where you're going to need it. You know, I'm sure, Jean, you did receive that support from family, but little did you know that a time shall come in your life when you can go in and pull from that support and continue to sustain yourself. So today, like I said, there are people who struggle with that because they did not, that support was not rendered to them for one reason or the other. So what do you want to say to people like that as they go through life and go through challenges?
Well, first thing I would definitely tell people is that support comes from different places, because not everybody out there is privileged to have both parents or privileged to have aunties or even close friends, you know, but we all get our support system from different places. So in terms of support, I would definitely tell people that if you have a friend, or it might be a coworker, you know, it might be a support group, there's always help somewhere out there, because always know there's somebody somewhere going through something that you're going through. That is the beauty of life. So I would tell them to say, definitely reach out to a friend if you don't feel that you have somebody that's close enough that you can talk to about certain situations. And I definitely would say that because I did go through the challenge of, from being somebody that had legs, used to run all the time and everything, to overnight being a double amputee. It was a challenge, and there was a time that I didn't feel like I'm never going to be that person, and I'm never going to be accepted the same way. But then I found out to say, I'm still just the same person, you know, and miraculously is that I actually found out how strong I really am, that I actually found out the better features of myself, you know. So I definitely would just, whatever you're going through, don't give up hope because you don't think that you have the resources, you know. That's also one of the reasons that I did open up Miracles of Hope, because there's some people that don't have the resources that maybe some of us have. So just, yeah, reach out to a friend if you don't know exactly which resources and what organization does what, or what person can able to help you do something. Reach out to somebody, they might know somebody. You know, it comes back to paid forward, you know, but in this way, pay forward a resource, I would say.
Right,
Yes.
right. Yeah, and that's actually what Jean is doing right now, because you mentioned something that was really powerful, and that's support group. Because not everybody actually, like you said, had that privilege of having both parents, you know, raise them up. A lot of us, you know, grew up differently. But what is important is one being in the position to identify what the needs are. And once you know what your needs are, the good thing about the society in this country that we live in is there are all kinds of opportunities. There are all kinds of support groups, so that one will always be on the watch out, on the lookout for what you need and what is the appropriate support group. So now I'm sure, Jean, you did receive that family support, but you also received another support while you were in the hospital. And like you said, there are some, you know, support comes in different ways and different means and different situations as well. So right now, the support group that Jean have, and she is going to also share with other people, is that she is opening this Miracles of Hope, and it's also a home care. Like she said, it's the baby steps, but it doesn't hurt to get, you know, in touch with Jean, get more information on how that Miracles of Hope home care can really benefit you or benefit a friend. We're talking about, you know, making connections. Your friends, your family, know that this is an opportunity that somebody who experienced and really enjoyed the support from different people and the society is willing at this point to share all she has received and even more. And also in the position to be an ambassador, an advocate for people who have that kind of challenge that she has, to know that there is hope out there and that your challenge does not really limit you unless you allow it to. because any one of us can really encounter any kind of challenge tomorrow. But the real story or the real reality is, there's always help out there. And whatever you've received, you give it forward, because that's how we all live as a community. That's how we all live as family. And that's how we all live as neighbors. So I am so glad that you've received, and you're right now even giving more and giving it happily. So you want to add something to that?
All I can say is I do have Miracles of Hope, our website, miraclesofhope.world. So please definitely.
Can you put it, please, Anita, on the chart when you get the chance?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. So definitely we'll be putting events on there that we'll be hosting. One of the events that we'll be hosting is just to collect kids' toys we'll be sending them to Africa. So, the kids over there, I'm working with, the cancer hospital in Zambia to try and see if we could get some toys over there. So, some kids can wake up Christmas morning and say, some people from this side of town are always thinking about you. So I'll definitely put the website on there, miraclesofhope.world, and it has also my information on there. And in terms of the resources that I was talking about, please definitely feel free to get in touch with me, or if anybody out there has like some donations that they would like to give us a call, to help if you have something maybe larger or you want to donate in another way. Also, if anybody just, needs those like private words of encouragement, please feel free. We're always here to support. Yes, that's pretty much it, Sister Zita. Like they can go to the website.
Yes.
My number is there. Please definitely get in touch with me. If you feel like, you want to ask me something private, I'm here.
Right. Yes. Yeah, thank you so much, Jean, for giving us all this information and for sharing. And I really applaud you for your courage, your generosity, and I wish you all the best. I know that you definitely pull it off in an amazing way. Thank you so much for coming to this podcast. We have another friend, Alicia Alexander. She is here with us and going to talk to us about herself. So Alicia, you're welcome, and please share what you have with us. Thank you.
Thank you for having me on. Well, my name is Alicia Alexander, and my company is Make a Difference Consulting. I am the proprietor of the business, and I help business owners see their workforce as individuals and help them engage with their workforce in a way that would demonstrate appreciation and value to their team.
Okay. And for how long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this about a year now. I recently graduated with my Master's of Science in Leadership, and I'm currently working on my doctorate in organizational leadership.
Great. That is really wonderful coming to share with us. And I am always excited when I see women, coming in and really climbing that ladder professionally and making a difference. So having you here talking to us, it's wonderful. Carrying on, and you're being entrepreneurial, in one way or the other. And all this does is it brings a lot of energy. We share this energy among ourselves, in our families and in our also circle, and people that way, when they look at us, they're like, okay, if she can do it, I can do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's why I like to, call us to come talk to us, let people see you and see what you can offer, because this is so powerful that we're seeing our women now coming up and making a difference in our world.
Absolutely.
So what really made you to go into leadership, to study leadership?
Well, I kind of was guided into it by some very important people in my life at that time. I had never heard of the curriculum before, but I had an opportunity to enroll in it, and I ended with a 3.77, which is a really good grade. So I was very proud of myself for that one. Was when we come to families, I'm very proud to say that my grandfather, I originate from Trinidad and Tobago, and my grandfather, when my mom was a little girl, has always had a business of his own. He used to manufacture and sell quality furniture on the island, in Port of Spain, which is the capital of Trinidad and Tobago. And that's where I get my entrepreneurial spirit from. I remember being 11 years old and going to visit him because we lived in Boston at that time, Boston, Massachusetts. And I was in his office and I saw a secretary counting money, and I was like, wow, that's a lot of money there. And that just stayed in my head. From the time I was a little girl, I always saw myself being like my grandfather, being important. Well, in my mind, he was very important. It still is important. He's still living. He's 98 years old. But I've always wanted to follow in his footsteps, doing something successfully.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, who wouldn't like to have money? We know money is good. Money is good because it helps you to take care of yourself and
Absolutely.
take care of essential needs, and even take care of other people.
Absolutely.
So yes, I am glad that you got that vision and you still lived up to it. We talk about family support. That's exactly what Jean shared with us. So those of us who were opportuned to see parents, grandparents, whatever they instilled in us still carries us, for the rest of our life. And we don't take that for granted. It is a blessing. We don't want to take it for granted. And I think the challenge for us right now is also to pass it on in any way possible when we can do it. The world is really offering us lemons, and Jean is asking us to make lemonade out of that. So yes, and that's really a powerful statement. And I really appreciate that kind of statement, that we always support ourselves and know that life is not always going to be easy, but there are always people there and opportunities that we can take advantage of to really help us pull through when those dark times, happen in our lives. So I am so happy that you were one of those that also received the support from family. And as we are speaking and you're talking to us about entrepreneurship, what would you tell young women? Because I have some young women who are still juggling life and family, especially those of them who are single mothers, because according to statistics, 70% of American families are being run by single mothers. And for me, that's really way over my expectation, but then question is, we are dealing with this reality. So my question is, how do we really support some of these young women who are struggling? Because not all of them are like really financially stable. In fact, majority are really struggling financially and psychologically as well. So what are the words of encouragement or support are you able to offer them?
Well, I'm glad you asked me this question because I went through a difficult time in my life. But before then, I had an opportunity to talk to my grandfather. And I said, "Grandfather, how do you make it every day, especially when you're in business?" And he said to me, "You trust God."
Mm.
And so I found in the Bible, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, where it says, "Trust in the Lord with all thy heart, don't lean to your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path." So as a woman, when you're going through things and you're alone, or you feel alone and you're not, you're still not unable to reach out to people, reach up, trust God. He'll direct your path.
Mhm.
Practically, if we see a woman that looks like she's got it all together or she may not have it all together, being able to give helpful words is a strong offering. Being able to just come alongside them and just say, "Hey, you're doing good. Just keep going. Don't give up." I had that happen to me today while I was talking to an older woman, and she wasn't doing too good in her business practices. I showed what she was telling me made me feel like she was being circled by different walls, but she's walking through, and I told her, "Don't give up, just keep going." It's always good to give a helpful word to someone to motivate them and to keep them going. So that's what I would do.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for, I know some of my women are listening, and those are really powerful words, that don't give up. And it is really important for each one of us to remember that, not to give up on ourselves, but also know that whatever I'm going through, that I should know that someone else is equally going through that. They might not show it, but remembering that offering words of encouragement goes a long way to help people, to uplift their own morale and all that. So I will really encourage each one to remember that for ourselves, but also remember to say those kind of words to your neighbor or your friend or anybody you meet on the street who has really, approached you one way or the other. If you get the chance, just throw that word out there, because it is very positive. It is also powerful. Yeah. Thank you, Alicia. Anyone right now, I'm going to open it up. Anyone has any questions for Alicia or Jean? Please, this is your time to ask questions or make comments. You can unmute yourself.
All right, so Jean, a question that I have in the advocacy that I do, and kind of working through barriers and so forth, what comes up from time to time is this issue of stigma. And, with the life circumstances that we're talking about tonight, sometimes many people, like big populations of people, don't understand the negative repercussions of things they say, or even slang being used and so forth around issues. So it's almost like, I don't want to say adding insult to injury, but just kind of with this idea of stereotyping and so forth, that it just kind of adds to the gravity of the situation, or just is not helpful, not favorable. And a lot of times we find people not even trying to be, and sometimes it's people become objects of humor and stuff like that. Have you experienced that, and kind of what you're sharing, is that a pretty ripe thing, and
Yes.
and kind of the outside of what you're talking about?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, for me, because I had a very active life. When I say active, in the sense of I used to like dancing a lot and things like that. So it was that type of when, after I lost my legs, it was that type of the stigma of, oh my God, she's disabled, so she's a baby. So we have to, treat her with that extra hand. Then it was, like the gossiping behind. And at first I did find it like very like, oh my God, is this the rest of my life? And with time, I think it's mostly that people don't understand and they don't have the knowledge of what it is to be disabled or to have any type of limb loss or just any other disability that you see outside that's not of the norm that we've been brought up to understand. So I think for somebody that's disabled, I think what I would say to somebody is work on being comfortable with yourself. Once you're comfortable with yourself and say, you know what, I accept I'm disabled. I accept myself this way, And once you get to that, then you say, wow, I accept myself. Now, how about I try loving myself? Because once you get to the second part, which is loving yourself, after accepting yourself, and this is something that I tell people, even just regular everyday and anybody, children, adults, is you have to love, you can't love other people or love somebody else if you don't love yourself first. So that stigma will always be there. But for somebody that's going through that, once they accept themselves and they love themselves, it gets easier. It never goes away, but it definitely gets easier. So it's not easy. I went through it, and even today, but sometimes, I will see like some people, talking like, oh my God, why is she touching her leg like that? And, and I always come up to them and I'll say, you know what, I just wanted to say something funny. First of all, do you know that the sky is red? And they'll look at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, no, I'm just kidding. I want to tell you something about phantom pains. And I'll just go into that. And 90% of the time, they're like, I didn't know that. Because a lot of people don't understand. As an amputee, phantom pains, like for me, I'm below the knee. I can feel my toes. I can literally be talking to you right now and saying, wow, I'm wiggling my toes because I love how everybody's smiling. But for somebody that doesn't understand, they're like, she has no toes. How is she going to wiggle her toes? But so I think it's just through education and, telling somebody that's, what's the word they use? Clowning you. It's also just how you say, if you come back defensively and say, you know what, I'm just whatever. No, but if you come back and say, you know what, make a joke that's not funny. Usually that helps. Don't make a funny joke. Then they'll be laughing about that joke. Make an unfunny joke, Have you ever eaten a square apple? So something like that.
Oh,
So,
that's awesome. Yeah.
so in answer to that, stigma will always be there. It's just all we can do is just educate people that don't understand. And I'll give that advice to just everything in life. When somebody doesn't understand something, usually most people end up being hurtful, instead of inquiring. So.
So Alicia, I've got something for you. Just a couple days ago, I was in a conversation with a gentleman who's retired, but he happened to be referring back to when he was working in management administration in a government position, in the county that I'm in. And he described how in his time in management administration, where there was a little bit of a dynamic as far as, women in the management positions, doing work for the county. And, what men were doing that, in this recent time, it's like, really this happened just not that many years ago, that men were kind of discounting the input that women were giving, which is kind of significant, to this. But Alicia, do you want to speak a little bit to, the things you're doing in the workplace and what you're trying to do for a person and organizations? Like, is what we're talking about tonight something that you hope is a byproduct of the work you're doing, that we can have more equity in the workplace? What do you think about that?
Well, in 2022, I would hope that the perspective of male and females in the workplace would be more equitable. As a doctoral student, I've been developing what I call the philosophy of individualization, helping the businessman see his workforce as individuals. Now, in the case where a business person sees their workforce as individuals, you're going to have situations that happen for males that are different to females and females that's different to males. But if there's an understanding of each individual in the workplace and a camaraderie, harmony in the workplace, then other issues can be eliminated. The non-supportive issues can be eliminated. One other thing that I hope to achieve is to help business people speak authentic appreciation. I don't know if you've ever heard of the 5 languages of appreciation in the workplace by Dr. Gary Chapman and Dr. Paul White. I'm furthering their work as a doctoral student in helping in what I'm creating in the philosophy of individualization. And each person, each one of us has an appreciation language. And if the superiors or the bosses of an organization, the leaders of an organization can speak honestly, authentic appreciation to their team, it's going to make for a more harmonious environment. I can get into what those languages are, but the overall sentiment is that there needs to be a cohesive strength in an organization for it to achieve. And overall, once there that kind of harmony in an organization, the bottom line will be stronger. And that's the overall purpose of it all. So to increase the bottom line through harmonious, authentic appreciation in the workplace.
Great stuff. Thanks, Alicia.
You're welcome.
When I think about what you just shared, Alicia, about recognition of one's position and who you are, whether you're male or female, is very critical. And when Kat mentioned something about Ask Jean, the stigma that goes with, having any kind of disability. I see that in the workplace, especially in leadership positions, because I have been in some of those and I've experienced that working with the opposite sex. That no matter, that kind of stigma is still there, even though it's subtle, but it's still there. It's like women are not really meant to be in that position. So if they see any woman aspiring to that position, it becomes something that is, I don't want to use the word funny for them, but it's it carries a stigma. It's like you're not normal, or you're not where you're supposed to be as a woman or something. I don't know the best word to use, but I like the way you talk about it. But the whole thing of education is critical, both for women and for men, to know that in the 21st century that life has changed, that we are into even technology and innovation that does not have those barriers, that anybody can get access to any of those innovations and move on in life and assume positions of authority that really represent who they are, and that one has to be respected regardless of their gender in the world, regardless of anyone's disability, because we are all created equal and we all have the same needs. And it is very critical that when we are working in organizations, that, like you said, is getting from that grassroots up really helps with that, building that understanding. And I know in most places that is always a problem. It's always the source of issues that organizations suffer, is that they don't really always achieve that success of working from bottom up. So it's always the other way around, which is counterproductive. So thank you so much for sharing, and I thank Jean as well for sharing. Anyone else have something to add? So we are here every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. I appreciate our audience. I appreciate those also who work, those who watch us online, and those of us who are also working at the background, Emily and Co. And this podcast, as we all know, is for those of us who are new, is brought to us by the World of Ability podcast in collaboration with Transform You Network and Park. And we are so glad for the opportunity they offer us to use this platform to reach our audience. I don't know, Kat, do you have something to say? You raise your hand up.
I was just throwing up some emojis of applause and party.
Okay.
I get excited when you start talking about all our friends out there in media. So
Yeah.
I thought, Kurt, you were about to show us a square apple. I was getting excited.
that'll come in our next podcast. That's what keeps coming back.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, so thank you all for coming, and thank you especially to Jean and Alicia, and please come again, and we're always open to listen to powerful women like you. And we always also encourage our young women who are still trying to generate the energy and the courage to really pursue their dream, to come up and just give it a try. It's always, it always pays to really challenge yourself and know that this platform is a healthy and friendly platform that we, allow young women and older women as well to come talk to us about who they are, what they do, what makes them, think positively about life and about the society. So I am so proud of you guys, and I'm glad that you're being very successful in your different businesses. So I wish you the best and have a wonderful rest of your night and your week. Thank you all. And
All right. Thanks, everyone. Nice meeting you.
okay,
Thanks for
thank
having us.
you. All right. Okay, bye.
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 Okay.
And that was your wow podcast.
That was wow. That was like powwow. Mm?
Emily, we are still live. Oh, okay, yeah. It's you closed the recording, right? I can't hear you.
It's off.
Okay.
Yeah, the recording's off.
Okay, that's great. Yeah.
It's just the YouTube that's still